This is wildlife biologist Eric Orff with my New Hampshire Fish and Wildlife YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk my weekly nature notes because I've seen something very interesting the last 2 days. 2 days ago, the farmer across from my house was mowing his hay. Bill and Stu Yetton, one of 3 dairy farms that are still in Epsom. There are less than 100 dairy farms in all of New Hampshire, and 3 of them are right here in New Hampshire, and the largest is the Yetton farm here on Route 28 in Epsom. And they were mowing the hayfield across my house, so as I stepped out in the morning, I could hear them out there, and the smell of freshly cut hay wafted into my nose, and it filled me with a sense of wonderful smell. So I came back in, and I actually went out in the field and watched my neighbors cut the grass and then and put it into windrows. And Stu Yetton stopped to talk to me for a couple of minutes, and then Bill Yetton, who was doing the cutting, stopped his tractor some distance away and walked over to chat with me as well. So here are 2 very busy farmers, and they took time to visit with a neighbor. And I certainly appreciate that. This Epsom is so lucky to have dairy farmers here. You know, as you drive through town, we have green fields, and in the distance, the forest. So very, very lucky to have some dairy farms left in Epsom. And thank you, Stuart and Bill Yetton, for keep on farming. He did say, you know, we're getting kind of old for this, and I hope they're not. I love to have the dairy farm. They said they had a very good year with corn, one of the better years they've had. Now, the corn started late. They didn't get it into the ground until June, 3 weeks later than most years because it was such a cold, rainy spring. And the corn did very little through June. It didn't come up for a long time. It was like 2 weeks before it even sprouted. July was, again, quite chilly, and they were talking about that the corn just didn't look good for a long time. But then August into September, the corn sprang out of the ground and grew, 10, 12 feet high, so they ended up with a very excellent corn crop. Yes, it's silage corn for our farmers. He's just finished cutting it this week, so there's been geese in the field. Everybody is enjoying the residual corn that doesn't make it into the truck. So acorns galore, corn here around wherever you've got dairy farms, you've got corn spillage on the field, so lots of wildlife is taking advantage of that. But while I was standing there watching him cut and enjoying the fragrance, what goes by but a monarch butterfly? So here it is, mid-October, and we still have monarch butterflies. And a few minutes later I saw another while I was back in my yard, and yesterday a third as I was coming out of the Epsom Circle. So in the last 3 days I have seen 3 monarch butterflies. I can't recall seeing any this late in October before. Of course, most of the birds have migrated. So we got blue jays here at the house and tufted titmice and a few chickadees, but a lot of the birds have migrated now, and I am so surprised to see some monarchs still on their way. So if you get any flowering plants, because monarchs have to get nectar to survive, they have to eat something every 2 hours to survive their migration. So make sure if you get plants, keep them out, protect them if it's going to be frost, and try to keep them alive for these straggling monarchs that are still sweeping through the state. So let's keep feeding our monarchs and hope that they make it to Mexico.